Hey guys, how you doing? What a beautiful Saturday. And finally, we're gonna get some sun. It's been so rainy in my area that I'm pretty excited that sun's gonna come out today. I'm gardening in Zone 8 in the Pacific Northwest of Washington State. I have a chore that I need to do that I've been putting off for the last couple of weeks, and that is to change out the soil of my houseplants. These guys have been sitting in these containers for about 2 years, some of them even more, maybe 3. So I'm pretty sure by now the soil is completely depleted of nutrients. So it's about time I gave him some love. In the winter months, I don't get a lot of sunlight in my area. It's pretty gloomy, so these guys don't get a whole lot of lights at all for about like 5-6 months out of the year. So when I choose houseplants, I tend to choose plants that do well in low to medium light conditions. So majority of these are going to be those types of plants. I do have some that love bright lights because I have a few windows that are south facing, but majority of these are going to be plants that do well in low to medium light conditions. So let's go through them together, and I'm going to tell you their names. I don't know all of their names. I do know most of them. So if you do know some of these guys that I don't know, maybe you can help me identify them. So let's take a look. Alright, so these are some of the house plants that we'll be looking at today. And we're going to start with low light plants. So we're going to start with this one right here, my all-time favorite. The ZZ plant, or another name for it is Zanzibar gem, or sometimes they're known as emerald palm. Emerald palm because of their glossy green leaves. Super easy, low requirements on everything: light, water, fertilization. Okay, the next plant that does well in low light is going to have to be peace lily, and I have 2 of these on here. I'm going to take them out because one of them is the mother plant and the other is the baby plant that I divided from the mother plant. I'm placing these 2 peace lilies side by side to show you how different they look because they are put under different conditions in my house. This is the baby plant, peace lily, that actually came from that plant that I divided last year or almost 2 years ago. This one is looking better, bigger leaves, glossier, and it looks healthier overall. That one, the mother plant, is not looking as great, and this is because I placed that one downstairs in my downstairs bathroom. It's pretty dark down there, and it's pretty cold. So right now I see like new leaves, like shooting from the center. But for most of the year, this plant is sitting in indirect sunlight. It gets very little light, so it's not as vigorous as that one. That one is sitting upstairs by my bedroom window, which is pretty sunny, and so it even produced a flower. This is actually not called a flower. Actually, it's called a spathe, and that's what peace lily produces. And the name peace lily comes from the fact that this spathe right here resembles a white flag, which is a symbol of truce or peace around the world. Hence the name peace lily. So peace lily is one of those plants that will do okay in super low light, will do even better in medium to bright light, and it will produce more spathes in light. Alright, let's move on to another plant that I think does well in low light. This is the nerve plant, and the nerve plant is a popular houseplant because the patterns on the leaves are so decorative. This is native to South America rainforests. So it does well in low light condition. It likes to be moist all the time. So this plant can be a bit of a drama queen for me. When it's thirsty and it wants to drink, it will droop dramatically. And like at first sight, when I first saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, is it dead? But then as soon as I give it water, it'll perk right up, like within a couple hours. So pretty easy to me, I think. I have some of the yellow leaves, some dying leaves, which is not, I don't know, I think it's normal for leaves to turn yellow and brown sometimes. So this plant has been in my house for over 2 years, and it's been like looking like this for 2 years. I really appreciate it. So that's another good low light plant. Another one I would say would have to be my snake plant, which is right next to it. But I haven't really had good luck with my snake plant because I mean, when I say I haven't had good luck, I mean it hasn't really grown very much, but it's still alive and still looking great. When I first bought it, it was super tiny. It was maybe 2 inches tall. I am also not sure if this container is the right container for it. It's kind of super tall, but it's not very wide at all. Like, it's only maybe like 5 inches wide. So I don't know, when I take it out of the pot today, I'm gonna have to take a look at the root system and see what's going on before I decide to maybe change the container or do something. But so that's the snake plant. I place it also in my downstairs bathroom together with the nerve plant and together with this mother plant of peace lily. And so in that room, like I said, it doesn't get a lot of light at all. And any plants that do well in there, I consider super tough and super, you know, like low light tolerance. ZZ plants are in there as well. So I have 5 plants in there. Let's move on to low to medium light plants. Let's start with this exotic looking one. This is Squirrel's foot fern, which is the same family as rabbit's foot fern. So it's a fern, you know, has like fern leaves. But what's special about it is it has these like fuzzy rhizomes that resemble animals' feet. Hence the name, you know, squirrel's foot and rabbit's foot. And to some people, like, they kind of look scary because they look like, you know, like animals' feet. Let's take a closer look. Super fuzzy to the touch. I kind of like it, really. I've had this for a long time. I've had this for almost 3 years, and I've had it since it was very, very little. I placed this right on the window, on my north facing window, so it does get a pretty good amount of light. So that's a good plant that I think that enjoys low to medium light. Where's another one? I would say the corn plant, or Dracaena. So I have 2 of these. This is the variegated one, and I have another one here, which is a little bigger, but it's mostly green. I love this variegated variety. It's so pretty with white streaks running down the middle. So I placed these 2 containers, this one and that one, a good 6 to 7 feet away from the window. And the fact that, you know, like, it's looking like this, I think it's one of those plants that really will do well in low to medium light conditions. Leaves are like really healthy. One of the easiest plants to grow too, these guys. I'm not sure if you have noticed that, yeah, you see like mulch here. So I mulch my house plants just like I mulch my garden plants. Like this one also, I mulch them all. And I've come to find that, you know, like when I mulch my house plants, I don't battle with fruit flies as much. When I cover the soil, I just make sure that, you know, like I don't mulch like too thickly, and I don't like go too close to the center, the stem. So that's one of the tricks that I've been using that I'd like to share. Alright, what other plants do I have that enjoy medium light? Oh, these guys right here. Look at this really cute container. So with this container, I'm not doing anything with it today because I just planted like all of these plants in here about last month or so. So I'm gonna leave it alone for now. But I'd like to talk a little bit about the plants that are in here. So first of all, this is polka dot plant. It's called polka dot because, well, you know, all these dots. It's so cute and pretty. On the internet it says it will do well with just, you know, like low to medium light, but for the color to be super vibrant, you want to give it bright light. And I think same thing with these 2. So when I first bought it, it was in like a super tiny pot that is about 2 inches, and they were going for like $2.99, I think, at Lowe's. And then I got 1, 2, 3, 4 plants in here for $2.99 each. So that's the polka dot plant, and this is called China doll. What a cute name. So China doll is like a tree, like it grows kind of like a tree, but it's like a miniature tree, like it's super tiny. And so I'm sure, you know, they're gonna grow out of this space like here soon, but I just think that they look so cute together right now. polka dot plant, China doll, and right back here, this one is some type of fern. I'm not sure what it's called right now. Is it asparagus fern? I think so. Yes, guys, I just looked it up, and this is asparagus fern, which is not real fern, by the way, but it does resemble one, so it's called asparagus fern. This has very lacy, hairy leaves. It's really pretty, and it's supposed to flower, and the flowers are going to be greenish white, which I haven't seen, so I'm kind of excited for it in the future. Next to my asparagus fern is parlor palm, and parlor palm is a palm tree native to Mexico and Guatemala. It grows in the rainforest environments, so it will do well in low light conditions. So everything that I have in this container here is low to medium light, loving plants. So very lovely. Right here is another CZ plant that I keep upstairs in my bedroom that is on a wall away from any window, no lights at all. And it's been sitting like this for about 1.5 years, and it's doing good. So ZZ plants is one of those plants that I love so much because it's so hard to kill it. Like it will not die. Like it will thrive in any situation. Another good plant that enjoys medium light is this one. This is the coffee plant, or Arabian coffee, or coffee Arabica. I've had this plant for about 2.5 years, and it sits kind of about 4 or 5 feet away from the window, on a north facing window, so it doesn't get bright light. In outdoor condition, I think coffee plants thrive in like low light condition as well. So in the as a house plant, they're kind of the same. Some of the leaves, like this plant sheds leaves quite a bit. Every couple of weeks or so, I would come around and I would see like some of the leaves turning brown and falling off, which is normal. I just clean them off and make room for the new leaves to come out. Like you could see down here, some of those baby leaves that are brand new. Alrighty, so far we've talked about plants who do well in low to medium light conditions. Let's move on to plants that do well in bright light. So we're gonna take a look at this one first. This plant is called the baby rubber plant. It's a flowering plant with waxy leaves, and it's a succulent in that it's got very thick leaves and it doesn't take a lot of water. It's grown for its flowers, which is supposed to be really beautiful. I haven't seen the flowers yet. This is one of those plants that I bought from Trader Joe's that was like $5. So I can't wait for this to flower here soon. I've had it for I think over 1 year now. I didn't even think it was going to survive in my house, but it did, or it has, and it's looking great. So that's the rubber plant. Again, from Trader Joe's, I bought, together with the rubber plant, I bought this plant right here. And this is called Flaming Katy. They're pretty common. You see them everywhere. Also like a succulent looking plant, thick leaves. Again, doesn't take a lot of water. I think I've like been over watering it because I start to see like these yellow leaves. But it's got this really beautiful cluster of white flowers that would last forever, just like the orchid. Flowers once a year, but it's totally worth it. So that's Flaming Katy. These two plants, I placed them next to each other on my kitchen window, which receives very bright indirect light because it's south facing. And in that area, a little bit further away from the window, I have this white orchid that is in flower right now. Look at that. Gorgeous. I got this as a gift actually from my husband. It was one of those like spontaneous gifts. which I love so much. I think my husband found a trick, you guys. Whenever he wants me to keep busy or, you know, like get off his back, he'll buy me a flower or a plant that I don't already have, that I don't know much about, because he knows that I will spend like the next few days just researching information on the internet on it. So I just got this plant like last month. These flowers have been lasting for longer than a month. I am so impressed with Orchid. I'm about to jump into the world of orchids, and I don't know if that's a good idea. I almost forgot about this plant. This is Opalina. Opalina is a succulent with like really beautiful pale bluish greenish leaves that has like a thin layer of white powder on the surface. This is one of those plants that I also got from Trader Joe's for like less than $5 2 years ago, and I haven't had to do anything with this plant at all other than placing it by a bright window. So it's a succulent in that it doesn't really take a lot of water, so I keep it in this, even this original container that it came with. It's so easy, guys. Sometimes it'll lose some of the bottom leaves like this, and I just like, you know, wiggle it and see if it'll come off, and if they do, then I just pull them out, and that's how I like, you know, like clean this plant up a bit. But it's grown like twice its size ever since I've got it. It's really beautiful. It's one of those plants that you can just place like in the middle of a you know, like a dining table, like as a centerpiece. And it's interesting looking. So that's a really easy plant to have. I've done something different this year, you guys. I brought my annual Dahlia out inside from outside. So I bought 3 of these this year, and I keep 2 in the garden right now. And I decided to keep the 3rd one upstairs by my bedroom window that receives like really bright light, and it's put out a lot of leaves, like lots. And this is I bought this at the same time as, let me show you this other one that I have in the garden. So they are the same plant. I bought 3 of these. It's a red dahlia. So this is Dahlia Vampire Dahlia, and it's got beautiful, beautiful red flowers. So the one that I keep outdoors have not put out as many leaves as the one indoors, but it's got more flowers and more buds all around. So I don't know, like I'm about to find out whether or not like they do well as an indoor plant. I've only been keeping this inside for about a month or so, and wow, look at all those leaves. Do I see any buds? Yes, there's one there. There's one more here. And yeah, there are a few actually. Oh, and there's another one there. So there are a few buds. So I don't, I'm pretty sure they're gonna flower inside as well. Next to my annual Dahlia upstairs, I have Differentbeckya. Differentbeckya is one of those bright light loving plants. They're grown for their interesting looking leaves. It's quite beautiful. I have 3 plants in this container right here. And these 3 plants are actually not the original plants. They are what I propagated from the mother plant. I only bought 1 of these plants originally, and they're so easy to propagate, guys. Let me show you what I've done with my Differentbeckya. So you just need to cut maybe like 4 to 6 inches of the top stem off, and then stick them in water and just, you know, place them by a bright sunny window, and just, you know, let them be for about a couple of weeks, and then you will let me take them out so you can see what the roots look like. So this is what you get after like, you know, 4 or 5 weeks or so. So that's one, because I'm trying to make more of Differentbeckya, and that's the second one. So easy. I didn't do anything at all other than just, you know, cut off some of these like super long stems and then stick them in water. So that's another good one. Now the last one that I have here is it's a weed. I have been battling with this weed so much this year. This is a creeping buttercup. It's a cute name, guys, but it's not cute at all in the garden. I had to pull like 100 of these out. They were growing everywhere under my Japanese willow. And they will grow in between your plants, through your plants, through the roots of your plants. So like when you have to take them out, it's so annoying because you have to dig like so close to the plant's roots, and I was so afraid that I would damage my plants. So anyway, long story short, I was digging and digging and digging, and then I realized, you know what? Let me try something. Let me keep them as house plant and see how they would do. Let me show you some of the plants that I couldn't bring outside because they're either attached to a trellis or they're just too heavy. Alright, this is the Arrowhead plant. It's quite a popular house plant for its air purifying qualities, and they grow well in my house. This container is being placed kind of about 5-6 feet away from the window, but as you can see, like, you know, it gets some light, not very bright, but bright enough. And in this same container, I have another corn plant, but you know, a small one, so that's a Dracena. This is another plant that I keep by this window that is north facing. This is in a hanging basket, and this is Tradescantia zebrina, or Wandering Jew, or inch plant. So many names to this. And right here in the corner, I have a climbing monstera. I'm not really sure, you know, of the official name, but it looks like a little monstera plant that climbs, and I have it climbing this little trellis right here. Look at those beautiful leaves. I did not buy this plant. I actually got gifted from a friend, and she gave me a little cutting with just like super tiny leaves in a water bottle. And then I took it home and I stuck it in soil, and this is what it's looking like. It's been here for about, I would say, 8 months. It's gorgeous. Love it. So that's all about my houseplant today, guys. Let me show you the soil that I'm gonna use today. It's potting soil from Cedar Grove, and then I'm gonna use this mulch. I am not really picky when it comes to soil for my houseplants, as long as it's well draining, because I'm the one who controls everything. I control how much water they get, how much fertilizer they get, so it really doesn't matter what I use. All right, I have quite a bit of work waiting for me today, guys, but thanks for watching. If you have you know, some other houseplants that you'd like to introduce, or that you'd like to, you know, tell me about, please drop me some comments, and I'd be happy to hear from you. Have a wonderful day, guys. Yay, the sun is coming out finally.